when you treat your parents with goodness, even if they, in your mind, you think they don't deserve it, the benefit is for you and your future. How? Remember what I said? Children may not obey us all the time, but they never fail to. For what? Huh? Children may not obey us all the time, but they never fail to copy, imitate us. They imitate us. Isn't that correct? Your child imitates you how you tie your shoes. Your child imitates you how you walk and talk, everything. Until a certain age. And then when they get married, they will think, if he's a boy, becomes a man, he says, I've got a problem with my wife. How did my father used to deal with it? That's the first place your brain will take you, to the people who you grew up with, your parents, then others. The wife, she also will remember, how did my mother deal with this? The child sees themselves as half made up of dad and half made up of mother. Listen to this is psychological studies that we've done on this. When a child is abused by the father, or sees the father abusing the mother, or the mother is abusing the child, or abusing the father, or one of them is corrupt, the child grows up to dislike that part of themselves. It's not about the father or the mother, it's really because they say, I am made up of them, so I hate half of myself. That half is a void, and I feel the need to replace it with something. If the other parent is also corrupt, they hate their other half. Now they hate all themselves. That needs a replacement. Brothers and sisters, it's crucial to understand this. Parents, even if you disagree among each other, Rasulullah taught us that we can disagree with respect. You might say it's too hard. You can train yourself. You can train yourself. If you do conflict in front of the children, which is going to happen a lot of times, at least reconcile in front of your children. Let them see that problems have solutions. Or at least not all problems can be solved, but we can get along. My advice, if you can, in Islam it says that if the father and mother are on the same page, the children will not try to use one parent against the other, and they will see that their life is more complete and in control. A child will look at how you treat their grandparents, and they will think that's how you should treat them. And then their children will treat them the same way because the cycle has not broken. So you see, it's for you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, يا أيها الذين آمنوا قوا أنفسكم. O you who believe, save yourselves. وأهليكم, and your family. So who comes first? Yourself. Who comes second? Your family. Now from the fire. Fire of this world and the hereafter. When you go to the aeroplane, they give you safety instructions, and they say the oxygen mask will fall from above in the unlikely event of an accident. Who do they tell you to put the mask on first? Yourself. Even if your child there is suffocating, who should you put the mask on first? Yourself. Why? So you can help others. But if you are suffocating, they're also going to die. So you're going to get yourself right into this marriage. You yourself first. Get yourself up to at least 6 out of 10. No one can be perfect. Then marry someone who is mostly compatible with you, if you can give them also a 6 out of 10. Look for what really matters to you in your marriage before you get married. What is it that is a deal breaker for you, that you will get out of the marriage if it happens? Be honest with yourself and learn about yourself. Learn about your patience level and your family and your culture and all of that. And then go for a wife or a husband who is more compatible in more of these values. The personalities are different. That's between you and them. Can you handle it? Can you not? But don't look for a perfect husband or wife. And when you go into the marriage, you're committed. Here's a very valuable advice. You guys have Sheikh here, right? Good friend. I heard he did a little series about Qadr. And he started going to a trend on everyone saying to me, Sheikh correct that he said, love is risk. Romance, same thing. Yeah, romance, love is rizq. The answer is yes, definitely. He's absolutely right. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, when he was asked about Khadija radiallahu anha, he said, أَمَّا خَدِيجَ فَقَدْ رُزِقْتُ حُبَّهَا. As for Khadija radiallahu anha, I've been given her love as a rizq. So is marriage based on love or not? Tricky. It is, but not necessarily from the beginning. And not necessarily consistently. Love has many meanings. Love can be based on so many different things. It all starts with mawadda. Mawadda is when you do good for someone and you do not expect a repayment in return. People when they get married, or even during the marriage, instead of thinking about their spouse's rights and their duty towards them, they often think about their own rights and what others owe them. They always ask me, Sheikh, is it my wife's right that I must do this and that? What's my right? It's all about the self. See, that's what breaks love and romance. One young lady, Rasulullah was approached by her father, and he said, Ya Rasulullah, my daughter does not want to get married. He said, bring her. Why don't you want to get married? She said, I might get married until I know my husband's rights and what Allah will be asking me about. When he explained it, she said, no, I am not ready to commit to that. So he looked at her father and said, she's not ready, you can't force her to marry. Now, I don't advocate late marriages. As soon as you can, inshallah, with the support and ability, go for it. If it's not a risk for you, the marriage is also a risk. We have to be patient for it. My brothers and sisters, people should think about what is the right of the other person, what Allah will be asking me about. Because marriage is also worship. Why am I opening up this way? Because brothers and sisters, wallahi, it starts there. And if you don't resolve it and do it right, then it's going to go to your kids, your children. As a teacher, I told you I work with teenagers in welfare and well-being a lot, and they come to me with secrets. They will never tell their parents. And how many secrets I've promised them and said it's confidential, no one will know, not your parents, not your family, nothing. Even some of them, I know their parents. They were hesitant, and when they knew that nothing goes out of the room, the amount of stories I have that parents are oblivious to with their children. Why would they speak to their parents? Why would they speak to their family? Why? Some things they can, and I encourage them to open this line of communication, but unfortunately there is a wall. They want to talk about their sexual life. They want to talk about their emotions and love. But the parents, some parents, have made it very difficult to even open up that topic. It's a taboo topic. So, I remember when I was in year 7, I said this yesterday, I'll say it again, inshallah, I was in year 7 and my school had to get permission from the parents to teach you about, education. So I went to my father to sign the paper. My father typically said, no. But Baba, I've got a test. He goes, And he did. But he brought the ayat of the Quran and he gave him life and he, the whole purpose of life and how conception happens and so on and so forth. And I found it was pretty good. But you know what happened? It was awkward. And I passed the test. I passed the test. But it opened a new, it took away a barrier between my father and mine. I was able to talk to him. If you're a parent, a mother or a father who is able to take away some barriers between you and your children, they're able to open up about their feelings and these things, you are a successful parent. And your children will grow up healthy, inshallah. But if you keep putting walls upon walls, brothers and sisters, you're the last person they'll ever come to. A friend of mine was worried about his son. He started locking himself in a room. I said to him, there are two possibilities. He likes a girl, or he likes a boy. The truth. Brothers and sisters, I don't hide from these ends. I have to talk about it. So if he likes a girl, she could be a non-Muslim. Or she's a Muslim, but maybe he told him something that he doesn't want to tell her. What should I do? What should I do? So don't get into damage control. Don't get anxiety attacks. Take it easy. You should have expected your children will one day want to find love. But you need to guide him now. So talk to him. Say, son, let's go for a walk by an ice cream. What for that? Just tell him something. And tell him you will not judge him, no matter what he tells you. So son, whatever it is, I was your age, talk about your vulnerabilities. And I had thoughts, and I've always thought, my son, one day, you're going to grow up and you have needs. And I have to be there for you. I promise you, talk to me, and I will not judge you. And slowly he told him. It ended up being a girl who was a non-Muslim and needed to convert to Islam. So he told me, that's okay. And I prepared him for that. I told him, say that if she's a if it's a girl, son, and she's whatever, we'll work on it. If she's not even Muslim, I just throw it out there. Then we'll find a way, inshallah. Let's just talk. Let's work together. Don't leave us in the dark. Sisters, brothers and sisters, eventually your parents have to find out. And my advice to you that I have seen over and over and over again in marriages I've done is that the parents are the last to find out. And then they say that they weren't going to listen. And I said, well, you're still in the same boat right now, 1 year later. You've got to talk, Habibi. That's all Allah gave you these parents, you have to deal with it. Maybe there's an uncle, maybe there's an aunt, maybe a sheikh. Tell someone who's older, responsible, and more wise. Because now you become emotionally attached. And when you are emotionally attached, you'll make emotional decisions. And emotions are unreliable, they fluctuate. Rather, you want rational decisions. There's not much time left, but I want to wrap it up, inshallah. Brothers and sisters, the concept and the principle of family relationships is where everything starts with the mental and spiritual health of our generation, the young generation. And I've spoken to so many young people, boys and girls, men and women, who have deep issues about their deen, about their love stories, about their relationships, and even about their gender identity. Muslims. For years. And one thing in common between them, one thing that is common between them, was a childhood of a dysfunctional family. A family could be religious, and it could have perfect routines, perfect instructions, salah, masjid, Quran, everything's perfect. It looks perfect. But it can still be dysfunctional. How? There's no human contact, it's only rules, study, do, Allah told you, punishment, frowning, instructions. What's that? Is that how Rasulullah taught the youngsters? He said, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud on an errand. He was only about 11 years old, or 10. He said, I went past and I saw kids playing. So I stopped and watched it and forgot about what the Prophet ﷺ told me about. And then after a while I hear a beautiful voice behind me that I'm familiar with. That was cheerful. I said, Ya Abdullah, what happened to the errand? He said, I look behind and I see the Prophet ﷺ, beautiful pearl teeth, smiling. He's not judging him and saying, you did a terrible sin. No. He's smiling, he said, like, you can tell that Abdullah Mas'ud knows that Rasulullah is happy for him that he's watching the kids play and he wants to play. He went and did his errand, he said, I'll do it now, and he came back and played. And he said, Wallahi, Rasulullah never said to me, why did you do this? Why did you not do that? Always find another language. I see girls growing up and boys. If a girl is surrounded by boys, you need to show her kindness and love and compassion. Because she'll get up fending for herself. Because a lot of the brothers, unfortunately, I'm not talking about all brothers, but I love when I see brothers love their sisters. And sisters love their brothers. But some brothers, they can't say to their sister, I love you. Ew, why? Ew. I'm thinking about that. He says to her, I love you, and she says to him, what's that going on? That's okay if it's just joking. That's good love. But you're this and you're that, and look at you, don't walk with me. And she fends for herself. What's going to become of her? Masculinated girl maybe who is to fend for herself and takes every guy, or probably even go for a guy with the first person who says to her, your eyes are so gorgeous. The opposite is true. A boy grows up seeing his mother being abused, he will abuse his wife. Sees his father being abused, he will become effeminate. Share with them their hobbies. Share with them their interests. Find out what they like doing. If they like gaming, play with them games. But make rules. Get time for this and time for that. When you ask him on a deeper level, wallahi, they will love you. I said to my daughter, you've got beautiful eyelashes, Bob. Your cheeks are so beautiful. I say a lot of things to her that are nice like that. And then one day she said, Bob, it's getting a bit awkward and creepy. I said to her, you better believe it. Because the next guy who tells you the same thing, you're going to say, oh, my dad says that to me. Get out. But once he comes to dad, comes and asks me properly, and I'll see, and we'll talk to you. And any guy will trick you with these flimsy words. Only I get to be flimsy. Relationships. Of course I'm not the best role model. These are just some of the things that work for me. Once I spilled the milk. If you say sorry to your kids when you make mistakes, they will help you. I spilled the milk once. I got upset with myself. My little daughter says, it's okay, Bob, everyone makes mistakes. And she helped me clean it up. Why? I didn't say a word. Maybe I thought, I said, why do you say that, Bob? She said, you say sorry to me. And you, when I make a mistake, you tell me the same thing. Yeah? One time I said a joke that was out of place. She said the exact same joke to her teacher. But teacher laughed. We learn from our kids as well. My brothers and sisters. Because the time is short, and this is actually, I've got a topic on it called Home Sweet Homes. Inshallah, the book's getting published soon. Inshallah, it talks about all these avenues and how to have a healthy family, upbringing of children, so that inshallah ta'ala they can be righteous, God-fearing, healthy-minded, and inshallah, positive, and good families themselves will be a legacy for them. My brothers and sisters, actually, before I go on, I just want to say, Jazakumullah khair, brothers and sisters, for having me here. I will miss you, and I will make dua for you, and please you make dua for me. Inshallah, now we have an excellent little game, little something for you. You want to play games? Let's play games. Alright, so the game that we've got for you is called the Kahoot. You know Kahoot? Yeah, that's from the teaching days.